grateful to the SDP for giving me this opportunity to be a guest speaker at this famous platform. I'm speaking entirely in my personal capacity. I am not a politician, but I am a Singaporean. I'm still doing my national service. Although I save some lives as part of my work, I have 2 SAF 100s sitting in my inbox. As a medical doctor, I come in contact with patients on a regular basis. I hear them tell me, 在新加坡可以死，不可以生病。 You can afford to die, but you cannot get sick. I see people who have to sell their homes to move into rental flats to pay for their medical bills. Do you think this is right? No! They are Singaporeans, just like the health minister and his millionaire colleagues. If they need a bypass, they have to pay much more than $8 in cash. At the very minimum, they have to pay cash for the specialist outpatient clinic charges before they get admitted. I've written letters posted on the Health Minister's Facebook page, met him at feedbook sessions. He gives polite answers, but nothing changes. That is why I'm here today. To ask you to help me to send him a message. I wanted to send him a simple message. Have a heart for Singaporeans who are sick. But now I realize the SDP has a stronger message. They want to send him to... That's right. Mr. Kaur is a good administrator. He was the CEO of NUH when I was a medical student, and he ran the hospital with a much smaller staff than any of the current hospitals. But he seems to have run out of ideas for Singapore's healthcare. It is good that he and his colleagues are starting to listen to the voice of the people, but it is too little, too late. He might need to seek some alternative employment, and he might make a very good administrator of a nursing home somewhere across the causeway. The problems with our healthcare system are known to you all. Most of them are about money. The major source of healthcare financing in Singapore is medisave. Most patients in hospital are elderly. They have little in their medisave accounts and depend on their children's medisave. Fortunately for that generation, they had many children, so they could afford to pay for the medisave bills for their parents. My generation is the stop at 2 generation. We have even fewer children ourselves. When we get sick, who is going to be able to pay our hospital bills if we depend on medisave, as our own medisave is depleted for the previous generation? MediShield is a compulsory health insurance program that every Singaporean has to pay into from the day you are born. Problem is, it excludes all congenital illness, it excludes psychiatric disorders which affect 5% of Singapore's population. It is the only national health insurance policy in the world that does cherry picking like that. MediFund is the endowment fund, and that is limited only to those who have sold their home and exhausted their children's medisave, so very few people can actually use it. These problems, however, are more than just theoretical ones. They affect the lives of ordinary Singaporeans like you and like me. A patient of mine I saw this morning has an infection that caused him a stroke. He needs a medication that costs him more than $250 a day. There is no subsidy for this medication, but it is the only drug recommended in all the guidelines to treat his condition. If he doesn't take this medication, he might have another stroke and could even die. We appealed to the medical social worker. The social worker replied that he is unlikely to get help because he has one son who lives in a condo. He has 5 children who are not well off, but because he has one son who lives in a condo, he may not get financial assistance. I ask you, how many people do you know living in condos with their own families can afford $250 a day or $7,500 a month just for medical bills for their parents? There is something seriously wrong with our healthcare system. Now, the SDP has an alternative proposal. It is a well thought out document and can be summarized in a number of key points. Firstly, increase the spending in healthcare to first world levels. As you heard, in 2009, Singapore spent only 1.6% of GDP on healthcare, the lowest in the developed world. This is partly because our population is still young, but it's also because most of the money spent on healthcare comes from you and me, not from the government. Mainly through medisave. One of the key elements in the SDP shadow budget is tripling the healthcare budget, increasing your money spent on your health. Secondly, the focus on primary healthcare. Now, they have suggested building clinics in the void decks. Mr. Kaur asked, where are you going to find all the doctors to run the clinics? You don't need doctors to run those kind of clinics. These can be run by nurse practitioners, physiotherapists, allied health, to bring responsive and cost-effective care to the people. Thirdly, reduce the pressure on public hospital healthcare workers by encouraging private GPs and specialists to go back and work there. John talked about this earlier. Singapore does not really have an overall shortage of doctors unless you are talking about 6.5 million people. It is more a problem of maldistribution. Public hospital staff are overworked and overstressed. Doctors and nurses in public hospitals are leaving en masse because of the work conditions. Once they leave, however, many GPs find that they have problems paying the rent demanded by HDB and other landlords. So they have to raise charges or do cosmetic procedures. These doctors should be back in the hospitals, working with our young doctors, and not depending on foreign medical staff who may not speak the local languages. Healthcare is not the only area where a message needs to be sent to the people. We need to have compulsory education for disabled children. This is something my mother has been working on for the last 30 years. She's been working on it without pay. And why is that? Because she does it out of passion, out of love, not for money or power. Compulsory education for disabled children ensures that every child is given a chance to develop to their fullest potential. It may cost money in the beginning, but in the long term, it's an investment. This is what the government doesn't understand. Tan Jise wants to invest in the people of Singapore. He just doesn't want to build up reserves in some bank somewhere. Vote wisely this election for yourself, your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors, the young, the old, the sick, the well. We are all Singaporeans. Don't be afraid that someone will track your vote. They cannot even track down a limping man in a baju kurung swimming across the sea in a rubber ducky. How can they track down the 1 million Singaporeans who will vote for the alternative parties on Saturday? Like Mr. Tan Jise, I voted for the opposition the last time I voted in 1991. I voted for the Singapore Democratic Party then, and nothing happened to me. Nobody knew how I voted. I have received several promotions, both at work and in my reservist unit. Last night, I spoke at the rally in Sembawang. No one in authority called me up in the middle of the night to tell me I was going to lose my job. My dean and my vice chancellor are good and reasonable people. They value a diversity of views because they know that this is good for Singapore. Finance Minister Tharman said on TV that it would be good for Singapore to have a strong opposition. My time is running out. These are excellent people in the SDP lineup. Like many people in the PAP, they want the best for Singapore. Unlike the PAP, however, they do not demand huge financial rewards for serving our country. They also have a very different vision about how to achieve the best for Singapore. They do not want a top-down, we know better kind of approach, but it's all about you. 2 weeks of campaigning have made the government finally listen to the people. They have made unprecedented apologies and they have taken notice of the issues. Think what 5 years could do. Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan, he is an excellent eye surgeon. Singapore needs good eye surgeons like Dr. Vivian. You can send him back to clinical practice with your vote. I wish that I could vote in Yihua, in Bukit Panjang, in Holland Bukit Timur, or Sembawang, but I live in Tanjong Pagar. I was denied the right to vote by 35 seconds. That is the Singapore of today. It does not have to be the Singapore of tomorrow. The future is in your hands. Vote wisely. Thank you.